Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and welcome to a special bonus episode of the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. What follows is an opening from our 2020 Virtual LeaderCon. If you don't know what Virtual LeaderCon is, it's our annual event where we bring leaders and thought leaders and experts in the areas of leadership development and personal and professional development together with me live. You can join us for this year's event starting on September 20th by going to virtualleadercon.com. It's completely free, but if you miss it, you can learn more and sign up to get some of this great content as well. Again, this is from the 2020 Virtual LeaderCon, an opening inspiration from me. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for being a part of the Remarkable Leadership Podcast.
Welcome to the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. We are here each week to help you lead more confidently and make a bigger difference, both professionally and personally. This episode is sponsored by 13 Days to Remarkable Leadership, a free leadership video series based on Kevin's book, Remarkable Leadership. Sign up by going to remarkablepodcast.com/13 days. And now, here's your host, Kevin.
So each day on the schedule that you may have seen, we promised that I'm going to do a daily inspiration. And I have a list of them for the week. And I may change them based on what happens during the course of these days. But the one that I had decided to do today, and I kept it on my list, is for us to talk for a couple of minutes about something that's really important. And it came up in conversation yesterday a couple of times. And that is that as leaders, we are leading by example. When we're thinking about it and when we're not. We're leading by example in ways that we're not even aware of. And we have to remember as leaders that our team members are always watching. They're watching what we say, what we do, what we don't say, and when we say it and how we say it and all those things. But much more than what we say, they're watching what we do. I like to say that they're watching our feet more than our lips. And even though we're doing it now remotely, that's still true. And the comment comes in, it says, as leaders, we should lead by example. And I'll just say this, we already are. The only question is the example that we're leaving the one that we want them to be following? That's the question, because you already are. The only question is it the example that you want them to follow? And we talked a little bit about this yesterday, about leading remotely. And one of the big keys to leading remotely is that we have to be more intentional about everything. So we have to think about which tools we're using and what message that's sending. We got to make sure that we're reaching out to our team members. We're talking with them about the right things. We're letting them know what the priorities are, including letting them know that they are a priority. I was having a conversation with a client earlier this morning. We were talking about the fact that as leaders, we have to find the right balance between leading for the outcomes and leading our people. And that also is a part of leading by example. If you wonder how you're doing at this, the simplest place to start is by looking in the mirror. Because largely, not individually every moment, but largely and collectively, what you see in your team is a reflection of what you see in the mirror. And so if you don't have, I'll give you a simple example. I've had many leaders come to me and say, I'll give you two examples. I've had many leaders come to me in coaching or in workshops and sessions and say, my team, they're just not accountable. I can't get my people to be accountable for anything. And what I want to say with love and grace is, how accountable are you? Because if you're not holding yourself accountable, it's hard for them to see that for themselves. And the other one that I see all the time, and another simple one that's also very powerful is, man, my team is so negative. They're all so negative. We got a negative energy around this team, in this organization. And I say, leader, look at yourself. And so maybe you don't think you're being negative, but maybe you actually are. And Marissa just posted a link down there at the bottom. I wrote a blog post a number of years ago called the leadership walk. It's actually one of my favorite things I've ever written. I don't even know if I've ever said that, except maybe in a workshop. It's one of the most favorite things I ever wrote. It may not be the best thing I ever wrote, but it speaks to this idea that they're watching our feet, and we're walking every day, and they're watching every day. And so, as Joe said, actions speak louder than our words, for sure. So remember that what we see is a mirror of ourselves. And remember, too, that we can ask for feedback. And we talked a lot yesterday about psychological safety. I would bet that'll come up again today. But if we can create a safe environment for people to give us feedback and to say, maybe that's not something that, what you're doing, Kevin, isn't what you're asking us to do, as an example. And so that's, I think, worth thinking about. And I'll leave you with a couple other thoughts before we get ready to bring our guest in. And I'm going to make sure that if he's ready, I'll see if we've got our guest. If our guest is here, I'll have them tell me that. But a couple other things to say here. And that is that now, perhaps more than ever, let me back up. I kind of hate that phrase, now more than ever, because it's sort of like unprecedented, Lisa, where everyone's saying it all the time now, like more than ever. More than ever, we've been saying, but so it's kind of become a throwaway line, and yet it's true. And that is that the reality is that we need to be leading from our values. And so when we're clear about our values, checking something here, okay? When we're leading from our values, then we have a chance to be consistent. We have a chance to be leading with an example that will be valuable for our team. So that's a little of what I wanted to leave you with today. I believe that there'll be lots of things that will happen today. I mean, the beautiful thing about live, Lisa, is we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Today is the first time that we will have a guest that's someone that I've not met, either for real or virtually. And so I'm excited for that. But of the folks that I know and have interacted with before, I don't know what's going to happen. It's live. And so, but I'd be willing to bet that things will come up today that will relate to this idea of leading by example. And I would say that the biggest compliment that I feel that I can get as a leader is when someone says he's doing what he says others ought to do. Like, I'm in this position of teaching leadership and helping other people do that. And the best compliment I can get is just when saying he doesn't just talk about it, he's doing it. So we're all leading by example every day. The question is, are we setting the one that we want people to follow?